For any new subscribers to the channel, here's a couple of things you need to know about me. I'm completely bonkers and I love my family. I'm a very proud dad of identical twin boys, and I love them very much. My kids are also an inspiration to me, not just in life, but also in terms of content creation, and they've been an inspiration for this next video. I've covered children's entertainment that I enjoy, but when you're a parent, you do watch a lot of kids' entertainment with your kids. So I asked them to give me a list of TV shows that they enjoy, and there was a lot of them. I managed to narrow it down to 20. So I'm going to talk about some of the children's entertainment that my kids enjoy. So we'll start with the one that if you've watched other videos on this channel, you'll know is one of their favourites, Teen Titans Go. Now I know why my boys love this one. It makes them laugh, they love the songs, and there is a lot of fart jokes. Far cry from the original Teen Titans cartoon that my generation would know, but they like it. It's got a very wide fan base, and you can't deny its popularity. The next one is a show that has been going for a very long time, SpongeBob SquarePants. It's a show that shouldn't work, but it does. Me being older, I prefer the classic SpongeBob SquarePants. Didn't seem like it was pandering to the kids, it was more for all audiences, but mainly targeted to kids. But my boys love the newer stuff. They especially like Squidward because apparently he reminds them of me. I love you boys, but they're right, I am Squidward. Sticking with the SpongeBob universe, they also love the Patrick Star Show. The spin-off, prequel, I honestly don't know if it's like, a sequel series or a spin-off or a prequel. It's Patrick Star being dumb in his own show and you find out about his family. That's the gist that I get from it because this is the one where my brain tends to tune out. They still enjoy it because it is Patrick Star being dumb, their exact words. And then, of course, there's Camp Coral. This is definitely a prequel series because it's when SpongeBob SquarePants and the gang were all at summer camp. I particularly like the animation style change because they go for a more 3D look rather than the 2D animation. So it is quite refreshing, and I understand it's a marketable franchise and they need to keep making money off of it. My kids like it, I tolerate it. Sticking with the Nickelodeon theme, we move on to Fairly Odd Parents. No, not the new CGI one that's come out. I've not been exposed to that at the time of this recording. The original 2D cartoon with Timmy Turner. Again, I prefer the older episodes. Boys prefer the newer episodes because it's more slapstick, and they like the two characters that a lot of the fans of Fairly Odd Parents hated, Poof and Foop. Jumping back over to Cartoon Network, a show that I wasn't expecting to like, but I actually enjoy watching it with my kids, Craig of the Creek. I like the animation style, I like the diversity of the cast, and I like that it totally plays with the concept of a kid's imagination, but it doesn't stretch it beyond totally unrealistic terms. There's also some dark themes in there as well. In one of the later seasons that I'd watched, Craig is struggling with the fact that he might not be friends with his friends in the future. And that is something that does hit home for many parents that watch the show. Time moves on, sometimes you lose the friends that you had when you were a kid. And then you jump to another show that totally rips the piss out of the medieval kings and queens trope, the heroic quest of the valiant Prince Ivanhoe. My kids love it for the slapstick, the fact that Prince Ivanhoe is a little bit of a moron, and I like the Squire, well, the Squire's the actual hero of the story. The animation style is interesting, but the voice-over talent is extremely strong. And one that my kids like, which I initially didn't like, but now really enjoy, The Amazing World of Gumball. It's one that me and the kids can just sit down, they find something to enjoy out of it, and I enjoy it because it actually deals with some hard-hitting issues that you don't really expect. A couple of times I've actually teared up watching episodes. I'll now jump on to some shows that my boys have discovered on Netflix. And their favourite on Netflix is definitely Captain Underpants. They relate to the lead roles in George Beard and Harold Hutchins, pranksters with amazing imaginations, and they love Captain Underpants because he's nuts. Don't get me wrong, the fact that Melvin is the antagonist and he's ginger does tick me off from a ginger-haired standpoint. There's 3 seasons of it on Netflix, a couple of specials, and overall, I enjoy them. It's a show that you can sit down and watch with them. And you can never sit down when you're watching this show on Netflix. The Floor is Lava. It's a game show based on the popular game, The Floor is Lava. And my boys love it because every time a team comes on, they pick out who is going to be them in the team. 9 times out of 10, they usually pick me as the one that falls in the lava first. And then they try and create it in the living room and try and see how they could get out of the situations. It's just brilliant. until they knacker the couch. An older kids show that they watch, which I was surprised they actually like, Total Drama, specifically the Total Drama Island. There's some racy moments in that, and at first I wasn't sure if I should let them watch it or not. A couple of swear words, not major ones because it is still for kids, just more older kids. But then I remember what I was like as a kid, and if you've watched my adult programs that I enjoy, you'll know the South Park story. And remember that sometimes you gotta let them have that little bit of rebellion. And I have to admit, I enjoyed it as well. But they started watching that from watching the spin-off series that they found on another streaming service, Total Drama-Rama. And it looks at some of the popular characters from the show when they were kids and all the crazy antics they got up to. It's kind of similar to Camp Coral in that sense. With a lot of shows, it's the dialogue that can either make or break it. But there are two shows on Netflix that my boys like that don't really use a lot of dialogue. One that the three of us particularly enjoy is Karate Sheep. A weird-ass title and a weird-ass premise, because it's basically the wolf trying to eat all the sheep, but one of the sheep knows karate and kicks his ass all the time. It's an odd show, but I do like the throwback style of letting the music carry the story, along with the animation on screen. It's kind of similar to the other show that they like, which is Augie and the Cockroaches. Not much dialogue, aside from the odd grunts here and there, mostly music and the visuals letting the story unfold in front of you. And I'm pretty sure it's made by the same people that make Karate Sheep. As much as you like slapstick humour, you also need to have some educational shows for your kids, preferably entertaining ones. And one that I found pretty educational and entertaining for myself is Storybots. It's a very unique show with a lot of special guest stars, but it is very educational. There's lots of stuff that I watched that I didn't even know about. It's an inventive premise, a great show, some catchy songs as well. That's everything that you need from a successful kids TV show. And another show that has not yet made it onto Netflix, but as a lot of Nickelodeon shows do migrate onto there, I'll be surprised if this one doesn't wind up on it at some point, Rock, Paper, Scissors. That's right, they made a TV show based on Rock, Paper, Scissors. It's one that is relatively new to the boys' content schedule at the time of this recording, so I don't really have a grasp on the premise of it yet. For me, it just seems like it's the roommates moving to a new place and getting up to shenanigans situation. But one's a rock, one's a piece of paper, and one's a pair of scissors. Moving on to shows that you find on Disney Plus, and the one that the whole family enjoys, and I've spoke about before, Bluey. This is one that my boys really enjoyed to start with, but then they started falling to the wayside. But then when they realised that my wife and I enjoyed it, they started watching it again, because they knew they could get family time with the four of us watching it. And I won't lie, I do enjoy Bluey. I've spoke about this in another video. I actually think that Bluey is this generation's Thomas and Friends. If you want to hear any more about that, or want me to do a separate video on it, let me know in those comments below. But the boys have kind of went off Disney Plus a bit. They loved it when they were younger, specifically when they were toddlers and babies, and the show that they really loved was Muppet Babies. Not the 2D cartoon, it's not on Disney Plus due to rights issues. The CGI reboot. I put it on for them because I thought that maybe it would keep them distracted for a little while, but they genuinely enjoyed the stories. And I have to admit, so did I. I enjoyed it because it didn't pander to the kids. There was actually a lot of delicate subject matter they presented very strongly. Another reboot show that my kids like that I was actually surprised that I would like as well, Tiny Toons University. I loved watching Tiny Toon Adventures when I was a kid. There was a lot more risque elements in there, and I was really hesitant about this reboot. Would it be able to translate the same zaniness of the original? Would it be a straight continuation? But it is a reboot, it does stick with the 2D animation style, and it is surprisingly enjoyable. And I tried to get the boys into some classic TV shows, like Thomas and Friends. They were into it for a little while, but when I realised that they were only watching it because I liked it, as a parent, you have to stop that and let them enjoy their own stuff. But thankfully, one did stick, and that was Tom and Jerry. I've mentioned it previously with Augie and the Cockroaches and Karate Sheep. A lot of the inspirations for those shows have come from Tom and Jerry. The music did the heavy lifting, the animation style was great, and you could take the same premise of a cat and a mouse beating the crap out of each other since the 1940s and still pump out fresh content to this day. It's something the entire family, no matter your age, can enjoy. And now we come to the final entry. One that a lot of the purists will not like about the show, but my kids do like it, and it's grown on me. Sonic Boom. A lot of people don't like this one because of the portrayal of Knuckles.
And I agree with that because Knuckles is my favourite character and I do not like his portrayal in this series. But if you do not know anything about the Sonic universe, as my kids didn't know when they first started watching it, and you just take it for what it is, the show is quite good. It's something that you can watch with your kids. They enjoy the fact that a blue hedgehog is beating the crap out of robots and Dr. Eggman, although I will always call him Dr. Robotnik. And what the show does with Eggman in particular, it doesn't make him a straight up bad guy. He is definitely villain, but relatable villain. One that maybe the parents who are watching the show could look at and go, I get it. So that is 20 kids shows that my sons enjoy. As you may have guessed, some of them I like, some of them I'm not too fond of. But overall, the appeal of children's entertainment does exactly what it needs to do. Reaches out to a wide demographic and gets you watching it. I've never understood all these debates of the show is for kids. You shouldn't be watching it because you're not a kid. Adults, our children have just grown up. We still have those elements of our childhood that we want to cling on to, because in a world that is getting increasingly dark, you need that to keep your spirits up. And I'm so lucky that I get to watch these programs with my kids. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care.